Hey everyone, this is Corey with Stafford's EDC, and today let's take a look at the Kaiser Knives Aggressor. You can see I missed the front flip there, and we're going to talk about that. Let's take a quick look at the knife overall though. This is in 154 cm, and the little Kaiser code is V3829C1. As I said, this is the Aggressor, and I guess the designer is Assassin Knives. So, this one is in all burlap. They all also have one in all rich light, I believe. And I think those are the only two versions, though I may be wrong. This is a liner lock running on bearings, and it's probably a little tight right now, as this did have some blade play, so I just tightened it quite a bit. So let me back that pivot off just a touch. Centering is still good, probably favoring the clip side actually. No play, definitely a lot better in terms of action now. So yeah, let's talk about this knife. Aesthetically, it's kind of a weird one. It's got this groove cut into the middle, which you can see here. It's kind of dished out, and it gets closer to the full thickness of the scale, and it gets a lot thinner down by where the pivot is, which is a little odd. It's a weird choice. And then you have some cutouts here, and on this side, more so aggressively on this side to help you get to that liner lock. But yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about this front flipper. But you have access there to the liner lock, so this is not too bad to close. Getting this open though, God, I hate this. I hate it so much. It needs to be just a little taller, just a little bit. It's not high enough above the pivot to give you like really good leverage. The detent is stiff too, which makes it normally great, but when you don't have that much purchase on the front flipper, it can make it kind of hard. And this causes me to kind of use more of like where next to my knuckle, and it works, but then it's not as satisfying. It doesn't fire out as hard. Then you got to try and catch it, and it's really tough. You're really beating up the corner of your thumb here. And you can kind of do the reach around on it, but that's not going to be great every time either, as this jimping here is aggressive, but I don't know if it's aggressive enough. You can see it's, it takes like skin with it. It's aggressive enough, but I think that's more of a testament to how stiff the detent is rather than how aggressive the jimping is. Jimping is certainly functional and it works in the open position, but it's not aggressive enough to keep you from sliding on the blade. It definitely provides some traction as compared to the rest of the stone washed blade, but it's not the most aggressive, and I think increasing the aggressiveness of that jimping would be beneficial to opening this knife, because you just don't get a lot to get on that front flipper. You have so little that's exposed kind of above the axis of where it needs to be. This is relatively close to that pivot. It's not much higher than the pivot, and the further up this way you go from the pivot, the more leverage you have and the easier it is to deploy the blade. Now, and this also has the swedge, so you can't reverse flick it out either. A full flat grind or even a full hollow grind would certainly allow you to reverse flick that, but this has that swedge instead, which I do like aesthetically. When this blade's open, get kind of this piercing point looking thing here where the two grinds meet, or where they don't meet, which is kind of an interesting look. And overall, this is an interesting design. It's very minimal. I don't like the lanyard thing, but at least it's out of the way here and incorporated to the back spacer. The clip's a little odd looking too, but it works. Overall though, my biggest complaint there is that front flipper. It's just not high enough. It's not big enough, and it makes for quite an uncomfortable experience opening this knife. Now once this knife is open, ergo's pretty damn solid. If you're squeezing this real hard like this, you can feel the pocket clip. It's kind of digging me right there. You can kind of see where it just was, sitting down in the palm like that. Whether this is out in your fingers or in a death grip, you're going to feel that clip just a little bit. It's not overly uncomfortable, but you do notice it. And the cutting performance, this was pretty good. I mean, it's a flat grind, but you do have that swedge all the way along the back, so you're not ever really working with the full thickness of the blade, which is always greatly appreciated. You don't even see the full thickness of the blade unless you look down here where the jimping is, because that swedge starts all the way down here. So really only where the jimping is where you have the full thickness. So besides, obviously the flat part coming out the blade here. So you're not working ever really with the full thickness of this blade, which is nice. Leads to really nice cutting performance. Excuse me, I've been yawning all day. I yawned in the last video I filmed because it's been a long ass day. And I have like I have to film like 20 videos because I've had these pass around knives forever because I was sick. So I need to get them all filmed and get them out the door this week, especially because Blade Show starts on Friday. So I want to try and get these two people either before Friday, which, you know, it's Tuesday as I'm filming this. It's not going to happen. But I do want people to be able to come home from Blade Show, and if they didn't get anything, at least they're going to have these pass-around knives waiting for them in the mail. But yeah, the Kizer, I almost call it the Assassin, but it's not. This is the Aggressor. It's just designed by Assassin Knives. It performs well. It carries well. It's ergonomically fine. Not the best, not the worst. But man, that front flipper just kills it for me. It just kills it. It's just not enough. It works, but it's not great. I find myself slipping on it a lot. And with a stiff detent, which is always a good thing. You know, I'm always for a hard detent. It's just not designed perfectly to handle that kind of detent. Maybe if it was lighter, this would be a little bit easier, but for this example, just not quite hitting the mark where I want it to be. So that's my thoughts then on the Kizer Aggressor. Let me know what you think about it down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.